Yeah, my friends, how are you today? I was out reading today. It's been such a lovely day here in the mountains. And I get either images or words, and this one was do not add you're mad to the world, which is basically mad, right? So the world's mad. I don't think we can disagree on that, but it will not help if we add our mad. It's okay to be mad. There's probably a lot to be mad about. Maybe most of it is that we have been so deceived, and then things are unfolding, and then the opposite comes out that that's not true either, and we don't know what to believe anymore. But in the meantime, because this is all happening, okay? This is happening. You cannot stop it. It's the old paradigm that's collapsing, and it's going to be messy, more messy than it is now. So the best thing we can all do is not add our mad, but be present with the part of us that is mad so it can dissolve and not be added to the madness out there so it grows. That's what's happening right now. And I don't know where it's going to go, but my goodness, people are judging each other and it's getting a little madder every day. So, my invitation to all of us, do not add your mad. What can you do instead? Just like I said, be present with your mad, feel it. It's okay. I mean, we get mad, we get angry. That's because there's so much crazy stuff going on in the world and in our lives, and that brings up emotions, of course. And it's because we don't like what we see, we don't like what we experience or what we feel. And instead of dealing with it from the inside, we get mad and we find somebody out there to get mad at. Now, what good will that do? What does it serve to just keep lashing out and pointing fingers and thinking that you are right and they are wrong? Now, this may not relate to all of you directly, but I'm sure you have that experience in your life where you can see it happening. And I really want to put a big plug in for stopping the madness. And it starts with you and me. It cannot start with anybody else. It's impossible. You can't say, well, you have to stop being mad. No, I have to stop being mad by processing the emotions that have made me mad. Probably a lot of layers. There's probably trauma and childhood memories and, injustice and yada, yada, yada. We all carry them. And they are still, as I've talked about before, they are projected out into the world. And that's why we see it in front of our eyes and it agitates us. It makes us upset because there is still a trigger inside of us that that wants to shoot, right? But we need to undo the trigger. And we do that. I have so many videos on that. You do that by going inside and learning to be present with it. Self-love is a wonderful, wonderful salve to use to heal those wounds. Um, so we're not bypassing, right? That's not dealing with it. That's avoiding it. And then it's still in there as an energy, even though you might suppress it, but it's still going to keep showing up in your life because there will be an energetic match out there just to show you what you're still dealing with inside. I was recently, very recently, invited to join a group by somebody who has been also really experiencing how much division there is and how people can't talk to each other anymore unless you're on the same side, unless you see it through the same media programming, or unless you have been following the same um, reporters, journalists, whatever, and you trust them. So then, of course, we can get together with those that we resonate with, and that's lovely. I do that myself, but I don't want to totally isolate me so that when I'm outside of my little bubble, that I can't be myself. And I have to say, when I was invited into that group, and it's going to be really, really about being respectful, learning to listen to each other, and be open to other people having different experiences. So this is very much something that resonates deeply with me. And when he was talking about his experience, he said, like, it's just so bizarre. It feels like for so long I have to zip up and I'm afraid to speak out or say what I'm experiencing because these people have a very different view. And it's on many, many levels and in many, many areas. It's not just the one thing that we see out there right now with the new government. There's a lot of other things, and it's all part of the same program. I want to just say that. But he talked about, I can't just speak anymore. So he had enough. He's like, that's it. I'm going to do something about it. So he did a public video about it to share his experience, realizing that a lot of his customers and clients might leave him, and many did, believe it or not, even though he's a wonderful, wonderful man, really teaching heart-centered marketing and a lot of wonderful things. But I just so admire his courage to stand up publicly and just share what his experience is and how hard it's been and what he would like to see instead, and that he's lost a lot of his friends because they have another political color and they didn't want to have to do with him anymore. So he's been going through it and really giving it some thought, like, this has to change. This is not the answer. This is not the answer, truly. There is another answer. And I've been talking about this a lot here also. And I do have a couple of smaller groups where we do start to bring in the new paradigm more consciously. And the reason I said yes to join this group by invitation is that this really is something I find incredibly important, that we learn to listen to each other, especially if we are different, if we feel different. It's already many times, it's still hard enough if we see it the same way. As soon as there's differences in opinions, in experiences, in understanding, in beliefs, there's something like, it's like there's a battle. It's almost like we can't bear having other people seeing things differently than we do. What is that about? Why is it not okay that I have a different experience than you do? Does it make you feel unsafe? And I'm not speaking just directly to you who's watching this video right now. I'm speaking generally. Do you feel threatened if people have another experience, another opinion, another belief, another background? What is it that gets triggered in us? And so what got actually triggered in me when he was talking about that, I felt like, yeah, that's been happening to me too. And I just felt like that's wrong. And there was just a release of energy that came with that, and it felt really good. And I owned it, right? I just let myself feel it. I didn't project it out and got mad at those who, whatever they have said to me or turned away from. I just like, that's not right. And then from that point or that place, I can choose, well, what is it then that I want? Well, I want exactly the same that this friend of mine is offering, that we start learning to talk together by honoring each other's experiences and owning our own experiences, our own emotions that might come up. So let's say this person has a very different, like totally opposite experience than I do. And then I get really upset. And then normally I would just, add my mad and be out of here. I mean, that's the general thing. That's not necessarily my MO. It used to be actually, but that's not alive for me anymore. Instead of doing that, I go like, wow, I really feel upset. That really pisses me off when you say that. How can you blah, 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 right? That would be the story that comes with it. But I just stay with the experience. There's this energy that we can call anger or mad that arises. And I go, wow, there's a lot of energy in here. Let me be with that. Let me find out a little more what that is. So give me a moment. Just pause, breathe, pause some more, and then pay attention to where in the body did this fire come? Where is that alive in the body? So let's say it's in my throat, like, right? So, and then there will be memories. And yeah, it's usually memories or feelings, right, that had not been honored before, that somebody had a different opinion than you did, and you were completely shut down because of that. There might be some childhood stuff with your parents where you maybe where it didn't matter what you said. There's all that stuff. I mean, you can probably have your own version, although they're pretty similar for most of us. But it's still living in us. We haven't dealt with it yet. We haven't expressed it or released that stuck energy yet. And then we just add our mad to somebody else. So here's the invitation to start out with. To just, if you are about to be upset of somebody, maybe on social media, somebody said something that's like, you go like, what? And you might right away write something, blah, 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 right? It just comes out, whoop. There's no ability to be present with it. It just has its own life, this fire or a fire hose, and it just goes out and you write an answer to that or reply and hit send or reply. And now you got the war is on, right? The battle is on. Then this person is going to say, and then you get this thing back and forth, and there's a lot of it. Um, I don't read them all, but I can see what's happening because there's so much going on in the world, and I know people really need an outlet for it, and that I can totally appreciate. Of course we do, but not through social media, not through bickering to somebody else about somebody out there. What good does that do? I mean, seriously, if you're doing that, or if you feel tempted to do that, just ask yourself, what purpose does that serve? Who's benefiting? What am I hoping the outcome will be? And sometimes we might hope we can confer or transform them, right? And that so they start seeing it from our point of view. But that doesn't happen. And we know that. We all know that. So let's stop adding that madness to the already too big of a madness and mess out there. That is something we all can do and must do if we want a new experience, if we want a different world. I know there are people who like that. Actually, I do know people who love to argue. It's just like a thing, they're just like, woo, 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 and they like it. Maybe you like it, then go for it. Maybe that makes you feel closer to each other. I think I've heard people say that because that's what they used to do in their family and they just love it. Well, that's not for me to tell them what not to not do it. But if it becomes that there is a split and a division that happens after that, then it's not beneficial. Now, me personally, I do not like arguing or processing or whatever. I just am able to be with my own experience and I can speak from that. And from there, I can say, boy, very interesting. I notice I feel triggered and I can totally not relate to that, but I do respect your experience. That would be an easy way. There are many other ways. So, what we see out there, and as it keeps growing, most likely, I don't know that for sure, but most likely it might start escalating as more and more things are being revealed that are either true or not true, right? And then there's these people think it's true and these think it's not true. And then you have the battle going. And as that grows, what is it that grows? There's more information coming out. There's more programming. I did do a video a while ago about, that that we are being programmed. And we need to realize that the part of us that, reacts and wants to get it out right away, that's not who you are. That is a program that you have been programmed to obey or act from. I have done it plenty, and I'm sure there's still plenty of places where I do it. But there's a lot of places that I don't do it because I can see what is arising. And the more I separate from my separate sense of self and come more into my divine essence, then this thing is like, what are you? What is this? Right? You can do it with a curiosity, like, who are you? What are you? And then you can simply see that it is a program. It's just this thing that's doing itself. It's like a glove, and the glove leads me to be inside of it. So I really think that I am the glove. And then the glove is the program that's just blaming and dividing and taking sides and everything. And so when I slip out of the glove, and just observe the glove. It's like, what? Yeah, what? What? It's kind of cute in a way, but it's very, very liberating. Of course, we're so used to being the program that our whole nervous system and the neural pathways, they have been firing together for so long that it's kind of automatic in the system. It's like a whole energy thing that's just doing itself. So stepping out of it, that can be a little challenging, but that shouldn't stop us, right? That should just go like, wow, I really want to get out of this now that I can see that I'm not this program that is just out there spewing blame and, getting upset about this and that. It's a program. It's a program. And the more we unhook our emotional attachment to that program because we believe it's true, we believe it's us, it's like it's all merged, right? They're just wired together. So getting that gap, and you can start seeing it, and then you can choose to do something else. And of course, that's what I invite us all to do. So for today, the invitation is, do not add you're mad to the mad world out there. There's another way. Thank you so much.